Frank from My Green Terror, and we're back once again, and I'm going to show you how to make some Plantain Salve. Plantain is a herb, often considered a weed, that grows almost all around the world. You can find it growing on pavements that have grass over it, or moist places out in the veld or the woods. It's been taken around the world by settlers and pioneers because of its medicinal properties. I'm going to show you how to make a salve out of plantain, and the uses for that can be anything from skin irritations to eczema to insect bites, bee stings. It can provide instant relief for that kind of thing. It also provides healing properties for open wounds as well. Very useful for that. Let me show you what ingredients we're going to need to make the salve. In front I've got laid out here, we've got 3 glass jars where we're going to place our end product. We've got some coconut oil, of which we're going to need about 110 to 112 grams. We've got a heat-proof jar. We've got some beeswax. We're going to need about 14 grams of that. And here we've got some freshly harvested plantain leaves that have been washed and dried. Okay, we're going to now show you the process on how to make the salve. Hi, okay, we're back. I've started the process where I've shredded my plantain leaves, but you shouldn't just shred them, you must also crush them a little bit to bruise the leaves so that they start to release all their goodness. So you basically take the leaves like this, you can fold them a few times, you tear them, and as you're tearing them, you squeeze them in your fingers like this to release their juices, and you put it inside the bottle. You can put in the stems of the leaves as well, that's not a problem. They also have medicinal properties that you can include in the salve. Squeeze it and put it in the jar. And with my last leaf, squeeze it and put it in the jar. The next thing we're going to do is add our coconut oil. I've measured out the 113 grams or 4 ounces of coconut oil that we need, and we're now going to place that inside this jar, and then we're going to place it in a saucepan with water that fills up to half the jar, and we put it on a low heat, and we'll let it simmer in that water for about 2 hours. Let's get going with getting the other ingredients in. Let's get our coconut oil in there. Coconut oil is normally liquid at higher temperatures, but it's winter here at the moment, so it has solidified a little bit, but it will soon melt down in the hot water. Press it down to get it all in. Okay, once we've got our coconut oil in the jar on top of the leaves, we can place it in our saucepan of water. I've got a saucepan here with water in it already, and it goes up to about halfway on the jar. We put this on the stove on a low heat. I normally put it on number 3 and then turn it down to number 2 once it has warmed up a little bit. But then we let it simmer there for 2 hours, and all the goodness from the plantain will infuse into the oil. And once that has happened, I'll tell you what else you need to do. So, see you soon. Hi, we're back, and it's been about 40 minutes, and I just wanted to show you the coconut oil is all melted and is sitting there in the plantain, and we're going to leave it to simmer in the water for about another roughly hour and a half to get all that goodness into the oil. But we'll pop it back in the water, and we'll see you again shortly. Hi, we're back. After about 2 hours, you can see the coconut oil has completely melted. Be careful, the bottle will be hot. So you can take the bottle out, and then we're going to strain the plantain out of the oil. We're going to pour it through a sieve. And into another jar. And you can see with the color of the oil, it has infused all that goodness from the plantain into the coconut oil. Get all of that out there, as much oil as you can. Okay, let's put that aside. The next step is to add the beeswax. I've trimmed some beeswax off my block. You need about 14 grams. It's about half an ounce. Beeswax you can get from any bee supply stores, or probably a health shop would also have beeswax available. This is an optional step. If you want your salve to be more like a cream, you can leave it as is like this, and when it gets to room temperature, the coconut oil will solidify and become more like a cream. But if you prefer it as a more harder salve, you can add the beeswax, which is what I'm going to do. Once we've added the beeswax, you need to put it back in the hot water so that the beeswax can melt, which is what we're going to do now. Leave it in there for another 15-20 minutes, and then we're ready for the final step. So let's put it back in the water, and we'll see you soon. Okay, well, there we have it. The beeswax has melted into the coconut oil. The final step is going to be to pour the solution into our jars, where it will solidify into the salve. Be careful, the jar is quite hot, but it is, for me, I can at least still handle it with my hands. So if we pour the oil in, I'm going to separate it out into two jars evenly. If we leave that for an hour or so, that will settle and will solidify, and then we have a plantain salve with all the healing properties in the oils, which you can apply for various household ailments, cuts and scrapes, stings, insect stings, bites, even serious cuts can also be healed with this plantain salve. It's a good household remedy, and keep it on hand at all times. Well, that's it from My Green Terror. Stay tuned for the next in our episodes.